Hello folks, working on a little work in progress Wednesday video here, practicing making some content. So I have three main projects on the work desk here for this week. Biggest one being my Eisenkern army. I have one squad left to create to finish up my platoon, plus a command element. Command element's going to have a couple of platoon level assets: a forward observer here, a sniper, and then a Panzerfaust guy for some little anti-tank capacity. I primed these with Army Painter Uniform Gray. I'm becoming a real fan of the Army Painter primers plus matched paint system. Definitely helps me speed up my painting and get out some more pieces for my goal of 350 for the year 2020. So these guys are almost done being base coated. A couple of more details need to be picked out with either this light gray that I use on the Eagle, or also some of them are not wearing headgear and need faces painted or field caps painted. And then of course a gloss coat, a wash, and some highlights. So that should be done this week. It's almost all finished today. I should be done with the base coats tonight. Yesterday I live streamed some work on these Steve Jackson Games 6mm Ogre infantry. Never worked on 6mm infantry before, but I think I have a nice method down pat for these combine troops in this Army Painter, of course, Desert Yellow. I think I have a nice quick way of getting them done, highlighting them before the wash, because it is particularly hard to just highlight single pieces on here. It's like just highlighting the backpack like I can do on the 28 or 32mm guys. So they're done being painted. They need to be based and then puttied up to even out the bases, and then of course flocked on my Litco 25mm hex bases here. These are two-part bases. One part is their extremely thin plywood base here, and then the other part is a flex steel sticker that sandwiches onto the base itself and creates a magnetic base. I carry all my 15mm and my 6mm figures in Tupperwares lined with magnetic sheeting made for car sign magnets. They hold them real well. I've even turned them upside down to see if they can fall, and they hold real well. I wouldn't drop one though. Miniature Market had a sale last week on, among other things, Blood and Plunder figures. I picked up the English starter set. I already had the Spanish starter set for about a year and a half. Some guys at the club showed some interest, and then it never materialized into any actual games. So I pulled out a couple of guys. This is from the Spanish starter set. These are the Milicianos, I believe. And painted them up. A couple of little test figures. Seeing how easy they are to paint. They're fantastic little figures. Lots of detail. Lots of little tiny things to paint, like the little powder charge bottles here. So we will see how these turn out. They're done being base coated. They, of course, need a gloss and a wash and a highlight. That should go pretty quick. With only 3 guys, I can make some real progress in between waiting for paint or a wash to dry on other figures. One of the other things I've been doing this week is cleaning up the basement here that I use as a workspace. I'm working from home remotely, and also as my hobby space and photo studio. So I have a little 4x4 play area here that unfortunately lately has had my photo studio set up on it. I've been taking a lot of pictures, putting them up to Instagram and Facebook. So I needed to dedicate a space just to the photo studio because I wasn't playing any games. I'd have to take down the photo studio, set it back up. So this play area has been cleaned off. I have a little photo studio set up right across from it. I have my light tent, my studio strobes, and my camera set up there. It's nice to be doing some pictures for fun. I used to be a photographer for a living and didn't take pictures of anything once I got home. I also got the new toy that has been prompting me to make these videos, my little Canon M100 Micro Four Thirds DSLR. So I set up a little video area here at my hobby station, a couple of 400 watt light banks there, along with a Mac Mini for the streaming. I've got a lot more to clean up still. There's a lot down here in the basement. We use it for storage space as well as my hobby area. So if I happen to finish everything that's on my paint desk, I also got a long-term project. My 25mm Ground Zero Games figures. I started painting these before my Litco order came in, so a lot of them then needed to be epoxied down to the bases and then puttied up to even them out, and then of course based with a little ground paste, and now they need to be painted, flocked, and then sealed up, and then I can start doing some solo games of 5150 Star Army. Based in the Tomorrow's World setting. Tomorrow's World is not very useful for solo games. Love it for 2-player or more games, but you know, we're all under quarantine. So that's what I have on my workbench this week. Definitely a lot more progress than last week. I had a little ADD last week and barely finished anything. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this will be a regular occurrence. Bye.